Hello, everyone. This is Vicky Verley, the Rock and Roll Prophetess, coming at you today to talk a little bit about the spring equinox chart, the Aries Ingress, Cardinal Ingress for March 20th of 2013. So this is just kind of an impromptu video. I'm going to do some astrology, and I'm going to read it intuitively also. Looking at this chart, the first thing the vertex is just popping at me. Everything, it's almost like one of those spoon things. It seems like everything leads to the vertex. And as we know, vertex is fate and destiny. And it's in the seventh house of partnerships. So this is going to tell us that partnerships are going to be important. And then I want to take into the account of the sign of Virgo. And Virgo, what is Virgo? Virgo is health. I think of Virgo as health. I think of Virgo as health and medical and caring for people, the nurses, the doctors, the foods we eat. That's what I think of as Virgo. So I think we're going to have to find some cooperation having to do with food and things like that. I want to skip back and which should have been our first thing, but let's look at the overall wheel. Let's look at the wheel. Now, this was run for Eastern time at 7:02 a.m., I believe. And we have a Pisces ascendant. So even though this is Aries, spring, new, all this stuff, we're still kind of hanging in this Pisces energy a little here. We've got Venus in the first house in Pisces too. So that to me is like some kind of like dreamy. Let's be dreamy. Venus in Pisces. Let's be creative. Let's be dreamy. I want to look at there's this grand trine in water. And that's also popping at me. Even though everything is fire, we've got this grand trine in water involving the North Node and Saturn in the 8th, then come down to the moon in Cancer, and then roll over to all the Pisces stuff over here, Chiron and Mercury. Still in the 12th, too, in the 12th house, which is, again, is Pisces' house. You know, the 12th house is Pisces' house. But I want to go back to this first house. Venus, Sun, and the Mars in the first. We could get a lot done, and we could get along. With this seventh house of partnerships accented for me. Venus, we can be charming. Sun, we can shine. We can get our point across in a congenial way. Mars, though, we can make it happen. Mars is effort. Mars is effort and striving forward and making it happen. I'm looking down here at the third house now. We've got the Jupiter and the Lilith, which is pretty separate. But right in the middle of that is this Vesta. And Vesta also is like kind of Virgo-ish. And I believe Vesta does also have to do with food, but I'm feeling like this food thing. So there's something about the food supplies, but I feel like a good thing. Like maybe we could, as do something together to help the hunger problems or help some of these issues we're having with foods, hormones or whatever it may be. Looking to the 10th house too, Sagittarius. Conjunct the galactic center, pretty darn close there too. So first of all, Sag in general. Okay, Sag. We're looking at humanitarian efforts again, I feel. Conjunct that galactic center, I feel like that's such a pivotal point that just brings through this higher energy. And I feel like that's what this has all been about here. Like a portal has somewhat opened up with this galactic center. And that 22 Sag is pretty close. I mean, I believe it's like 26 Sag. But that's pretty close. So I'm just feeling like higher humanity, things like this. North Node conjunct Saturn, or, a wide orb, but North Node and Saturn are hanging out together over there, North Node, what do we got to do? What are we striving for? Saturn, it's doubly karmic. North Node is karmic and cosmically, aligned, and so is Saturn. Two heaviest things in your chart, your nodes and Saturn. In Scorpio at this time, though. So Scorpio is like, let's root it out. And they're both retrograde. Well, the nodes are retrograde a lot of the time, but, Saturn's retrograde too. But Scorpio, let's dig down, let's root it out, let's really get to the problems and what's really going on here. Falling in the 8th house. So 8th house is money. That's definitely a money house. That's the bankers I think of as the 8th house. It may not be. This is intuitive again. So, follow the money, I think. Follow the money on these food supplies that are contaminated. Follow the money on why these food people, third world countries are not getting fed, or what's going on there. So Scorpio, dig it out, find the meaning, see what's going on. Okay, then over to Scorpio. let's look at Pluto, its ruler. Up there in the 10th house, bordering on the 11th, really close to the 11th house. Well, Pluto, what's, 10th house? What's the best we can achieve? Pluto, transformation, right? And then going on to the 11th. So that's like the groups and the people that you hang out with. That could be, I feel like that could be social media, so maybe there's going to be some social media things regarding, humanitarian issues regardless, with the Sag mid-heaven up there. It's going to be, humanitarian issues, whether the food thing is involved or not remains to be seen. Vertex in the 7th. We've got to work in a partnership. Venus, Sun, and Mars, with Venus and Sun energy, we can accomplish a lot. Mars, accomplish things. Uranus, again, technology. Mars, Uranus, obviously accidents, wars, and stuff like that. But I feel like this Venus Sun is more powerful, or could overpower it, or let's make it overpower it. Let's everybody focus that energy there. And I feel like that's just prevalent for our time too. Let's try. You catch more bees with honey, or whatever that saying is. Fighting, only begets more fighting. So, all right. So it looks like it's going to be a good next phase here with the astrology for the equinox. Stay tuned for a word about the Tapestry of Life mandalas. And remember, we are love and beauty incarnate. Hello everyone, Vicki Verley here, Rock and Roll Prophetess. I want to tell you a little bit about how I combine creativity and spirituality through creating the Tapestry of Life mandalas. I started out being able to see past lives really early on as a child, and my own as well as other people's. By the 1990s, I was receiving past life information through astrology charts, and not just doing the astrology work. This was intuitive. This is a psychic thing. It's as if I use it as a scrying wheel, and I get information by looking at your chart and looking at your wheel. This is what I now call doing a soul reading. By the late 1990s, I started seeing colors and visions, the colors and designs coming through in the charts as well. And this is when the Tapestry of Light mandalas were born. Creating the mandalas is quite a process. It can take up to 5 or 6 hours to complete. And what you end up with is a one-of-a-kind piece of art just like you. People get a lot out of these mandalas. You can look at them and start seeing things on your own. It's a great scrying tool. It's a great object of art for sacred space. Along with the mandala comes a soul reading, which I do from your chart. I also offer just a soul reading, and what we're going to be offering also is a computer-generated past life reading based on Edgar Cayce, which is quite insightful, but I let you know that it is computer-generated based on the Edgar Cayce readings, and I do not personally do those. So go to the site www.tapestryoflifemandalas.com to learn more. And remember, you are love and beauty incarnate.